Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
Clouds and snow saved some of us last night from single digits, but not tonight. We all get in on the action, find out how much deeper this freeze is going to get.
This is Tim Pamplin in Metro Airport. A man dead laying on the side of the freeway. We got the night cam on the scene.
But we begin with the Michigan Senate Majority Leader claiming on video that the January 6th insurrection at the U.S. Capitol was a hoax. The video of Senate Majority Leader Mike Shirkey was recorded by the Hillsdale County GOP in a diner the day before the group voted to censure him.
The group didn't think Shirkey was being tough enough on Governor Whitmer and was also unhappy that he was supporting an open carry ban of firearms inside the Michigan State Capitol. Mara McDonald live downtown. Mara, there's a lot of context needed here.
Well, Devin, for starters, this video that was recorded is a little over an hour long, and for the majority of it, you hear members of the Hillsdale GOP castigating Shirkey. Take a look. At about the 30-minute mark in the recording, after Shirkey has been told he shouldn't have supported a compromise that would ban open carry at the Capitol but still allow for concealed carry, and after he told the group that voter fraud was not a factor in Michigan's presidential outcomes, he's then asked about his thoughts on the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol.
What about the D.C. thing? I was there. So. That's what?
That wasn't Trump people.
Not at all.
That's been a hoax from day one. That was all prearranged.
This on the day the U.S. Senate saw the graphic video from body cameras of the police officers trying to protect the U.S. Capitol. Shirkey, for his part, after the tape made the rounds on YouTube, has issued this apology, which says, "I said some things in videoed conversation that are not fitting for the role I am privileged to serve. I own that. I have many flaws. Being passionate coupled with an occasional lapse in restraint of tongue are at least two of them. I regret the words I chose, and I apologize for my insensitive comments." Now, I had a one-on-one interview with the governor tonight on her upcoming budget presentation, and I asked her, A, had she heard about it, and what did she think about his remarks?
There was so much in there to react to, and I'm going to try to keep my focus on doing the job at hand, which is getting our state through this pandemic, getting our kids back in school, and getting shots in arms. So that's what I want to continue to put my energy toward. Some of these things are kind of shocking. Some of them aren't particularly surprising considering previous remarks, but I'm not going to get distracted by it.
Back here live, Shirkey also made some remarks about the governor specifically, including he told the members of the Hillsdale GOP that he considered jokingly challenging her to a fist fight, as well as referring to how he and fellow GOPers in the Senate have dealt with her budget and appointees as spanking her. We're live downtown tonight. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
All right, Mara.
Well, some breaking news to pass along just in along I-275, where a man has been found dead on the shoulder of the freeway near Eureka.
Southbound lanes are now shut down. In fact, Tim Pamplin joins us along 275 with the night cam. Tim.
We are southbound on 275. As you can see up in front there, Michigan State Police, all the flashing lights forcing the traffic off at Eureka. Earlier this evening, about an hour or so ago, police officers discovered the lifeless body of a man laying along the side of the freeway here. Let's get to some of the ground video we shot just a few moments ago. Again, this is southbound 275 at Eureka, south of Metropolitan Airport, if you know the area. The man's body is laying underneath the bridge there. Now, there is a vehicle here with its four-way flashes on, no one around it. Police are in the process of trying to figure out whether that vehicle has anything to do with the deceased man on the freeway. Southbound 275 will be closed most of the night here, while MSP start their investigation and try and figure out how this man ended up dead on the side of the freeway. That is the scene in Van Buren Township. With the night cam, Tim Pamplin, Local 4.
Okay, Tim. Well, we are headed into another frigid morning tomorrow.
Get right to Ben now with the bitter cold conditions across Metro Detroit. Ben.
We're going the wrong way, guys. Temperatures continue to get colder tonight, and in some cases drastically colder than what we saw last night. Here are the current readings outside. 13 is what we're sitting at least at Metro Airport right now. Ann Arbor's at 7. At least right now, the wind chills are matching the air temperatures in most locations, but that may not be the case when we get started tomorrow morning. Wind chills in your 4-zone forecast feeling like 2 or 1 below there in the metro zone. South zone wind chills will barely be in positive territory, but both in the west and the north zone tomorrow morning, we are going to be seeing negative wind chills to get started. So keep that in mind when you step out the door in the morning. So that's what's going on here. But check out up there to the northwest. Right now, 25 below wind chills in Duluth, Bismarck at 14 below. That is where the core of the colder air is hanging out, and it's headed this direction. We're not going to get that cold, but we still have a little ways to fall before we finally make an improvement. There's tomorrow as we get to 21, and that will seem warm compared to what's coming in the 7-day forecast. We'll look at that with multiple chances of snow coming up in just a few minutes, guys.
Okay, Ben, thank you. Some breaking news now out of Grosse Pointe Woods, where an SUV crashes into a wine shop. It happened at Merchants Wine and Spirits along Mack Avenue. Jason Colthorpe is there live. Jason, this story is a staple in that area.
It absolutely is, Kim. Been here for years. A lot of people stopping by tonight to see what happened, and you can imagine their shock when they see what you see here behind me after what is a suspected drunk driver crashed into this storefront. You can see where the accident began several feet down the block, taking out trees and things, including some parking meters. Take a look at what's left of a parking meter right here. This is the top of it. This heavy piece, by the way, was found across the street. You can imagine if someone had been nearby and gotten hit with that. But cleanup right now happening, and they have a lot of work to do to get this cleaned up throughout the night. At first glance, it looks like the all too often crash and grab type robbery, but upon closer inspection, it has the appearance of an accident. We're told a black SUV veered off Mack Avenue before 8 tonight over some small trees and parking meters and into the front entrance of Merchants Fine Wine and Spirits.
I heard the bomb, but I don't know if it's in here or next door.
Irene lives right around the corner.
And after some, I see the police car come around.
She also stops into this store often and can't believe all the damage that's been done.
Everybody loves the store. But most they love Calvin, the owner. He's a beautiful guy.
Grosse Pointe Woods are still investigating, but the owner tells me he doesn't think this was a robbery attempt because nothing appears to have been taken. But it will take a lot of work to repair.
My car really broke tonight.
Yeah, and the other reason we suspect this was a drunk driver, 2 witnesses told me they were here right after the crash on the scene. They saw the man getting a field sobriety test, the driver of that black SUV, by police, and shortly after that was handcuffed and taken away by police. Again, Grosse Pointe Woods police not confirming any of that, but we expect to learn more about it in the coming days. In the meantime, a lot of cleanup left to do here. We're in Grosse Pointe Woods tonight. Jason Colthorpe, Local 4.
That's where George Carlin would advise us to consider the difference between coincidence and irony. All right, by a 56-44 vote, senators determined it is constitutional for former President Trump to stand trial. The vote came after an emotional start to his second impeachment trial. Alice Barr on Capitol Hill with the highlights and notes on what is still to come. Alice?
The historic second impeachment trial of former President Trump opened today with House managers replaying the harrowing events of January 6th, when a pro-Trump mob laid siege to the U.S. Capitol.
And all around me, people were calling their wives and their husbands, their loved ones, to say goodbye.
Senators, in some cases, seated at desks that were ransacked by rioters, now tasked with deciding whether Mr. Trump bears responsibility for the deadly attack. House impeachment managers accuse him of whipping his supporters into a frenzy through a campaign of lies about the election, culminating in a fiery speech directly before the riot.
If that's not an impeachable offense, then there is no such thing.
Today's debate focused on whether it violates the Constitution to try a former president.
Presidents are impeachable because presidents are removable. Former presidents are not.
Presidents can't inflame insurrection in their final weeks and then walk away.
The Senate decided it was constitutional in a largely party-line vote. 6 Republicans voted with Democrats, one later slamming the Trump team's defense.
President Trump's team were disorganized. They did everything they could but to talk about the question at hand.
But the procedural vote leaves House managers far short of the 17 GOP senators needed to convict. Starting tomorrow, the two sides will go deeper into the case for and against conviction of the former president. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
All right, Alice, the trial will resume tomorrow at noon, and you can watch it here on Local 4, and we'll stream it on clickondetroit.com. Well, today, the state reporting the lowest number of new coronavirus cases over 24 hours since September.
The new numbers include 563 new cases, along with 60 lives lost to the virus. Today, Governor Whitmer announced the state is on track for its goal of 50,000 vaccine doses administered each day, as more doses are being sent out by the White House. In Washington, Democrats unveil the final details of the third COVID relief package. It will pay out $1,400 to Americans making less than $75,000 and couples earning less than $150,000. Individuals making more than $100,000 or couples making more than $200,000 will not be eligible.
Motown in mourning tonight with the loss of Mary Wilson, founding member of the Supremes.
She grew up right here in Detroit. She, along with Diana Ross and Florence Ballard, made up one of the most iconic musical groups in Motown history. The group was responsible for songs like Stop in the Name of Love and Baby Love. She was 76 years old. Still ahead, it has been a record low flu season so far.
We'll have why the CDC is warning about a potential second wave, though, coming in the months ahead.
And he was attacked and robbed at gunpoint moments after getting home. How the gunman knew they would get away with a big score.
Also, they could hear it coming from pretty far away. Up next, a car slams into a house and a whole lot more.